Hi, this is Debbie Bailey, and I have been reading and searching on a video for weeks now, and there's so much information, there's so much to take in between the Pacific Northwest, what they tried to pull off in Alaska, and what they did pull off in Iceland, that I'm just going to concentrate on what happened to the SR Orcas between 1964 and 1973, and including the Bud Inlet capture in 1976. When they caught Candu and Kilroy, those two newborns, there were a few other newborns included. One of them was named Katie. When an orca is born, they weigh between 300 and 400 pounds. Katie weighed just under 600 pounds. She was 8 feet, 1 inch long. I don't think she could have been more than 3 months old when she was captured. She made it to the Seattle Aquarium. They did name her, but she died in Seattle. And there is some controversy about her death. Some sites say unknown, but more sites say that a foreign object was lodged in her throat and caused her to drown. Upon further reading, I found they also disagree about the foreign object. Some say a pole, some say a stick of wood. But this aligns with my view that these people were whipping up some milky fish concoction and force-feeding these orcas so they could reach performance age. Gradually get them on fish and get them to perform like Candu and Kilroy. Hardly any of them made it. And I have found 3 different big captures of these babies, these unweaned little orcas. Most of us think that the SR Orcas stopped being hunted with the passage of the Marine Mammal Protection Act of 1972. That is not true, because what these people did was they granted SeaWorld a special hardship permit. I know it sounds completely ridiculous because it is, but that's what they were granted. And so the hunting went on. In 1973, 2 females were captured. One of them went to Germany. I don't know what happened to her. The other one went to Seattle and was sold to Marineland, Canada. They named her Candy. She was captured in August of 1973. She died in November of 1973 of pneumonia. The last big roundup of orcas, SR Orcas, was in 1976. It's called the Bud Inlet Captures. Ted Griffin was involved. Don Goonsberry was involved, or Goldsberry. And at their disposal, they had the big, huge nets. They had explosives. They had rifles. They had a couple of small planes in the air, along with a helicopter. Don Goldsberry was in the helicopter. And at one point, a huge male leaped out of the sea to protect a baby from being kidnapped. And the quote from Don who was in the helicopter, is, "Did you see that? Did you see that big male trying to protect that youngster?" They thought it was incredible. They thought it was remarkable. But it didn't even give them one heartbeat of a pause, because it was just all about capturing these orcas. What these people did not know is that on the same day, at the same time that this was going on, Ralph Monroe, his wife, and a couple of their guests were out recreational sailing for the day on the Salish Sea. And they witnessed this entire event. They were horrified. They could hear the orcas screaming and howling. And when they got back inland, Mr. Monroe went straight to the governor. He happened to be the assistant to the governor of Washington State. He took it to the district attorney, and a case was brought against SeaWorld immediately. Now, they took 6 orcas captive that day. 4 of them were let go between 6 and 8 weeks, but they hung on to 2 for months, a mother and a son, her very young son. They were named T13 and T14. And what they did to those 2 orcas was they put packs on them, they put tracking devices on them, and they tagged them. And then they set them free back into the Sailor's Sea. Within a year, the packs and the tracking devices were gone, but they did remain tagged. I do not know what happened to the mother. The last time they saw the young son, he was spotted in 2010, October 8th, as a matter of fact. And they figured by then he had made it to his mid-40s. He was never sighted again. But because of this event and Mr. Monroe being there and witnessing it, that special hardship permit was permanently revoked from SeaWorld. They could no longer go and capture SR Orcas for any reason. And here's where the very confusing part is for me. Because I've been reading and I've been searching and I've been counting and I've, pretty much everybody agrees on this. Over 200 SR Orcas were captured from the Sailor's Sea between 1964, which only 1 orca was captured and taken into captivity, and that was Nemu, and 1973. That's 9 years. Over 200. Now, I don't care. I cannot find 200, not even close to 200 SR Orcas in any database, chronicles, articles. I cannot get to that number. There are, in the databases and databases, there are unnamed orcas, but even if I count them, I can't come close to 200. Were they these babies that I saw as a child at SeaWorld San Diego that just disappeared slowly but surely over time? Did they capture that many newborns? Or are they including the young breeding mothers they harpooned and shot and killed? The males, the brothers and sons who try to protect their little brothers and sisters that they harpooned and killed. The accidental drownings, the purposeful drownings. See, I don't know. But since everybody agrees that over 200 SR Orcas were taken from the Pacific Northwest in that short of a time, what I can tell you about that is that was 1/3 of their total population. 1/3 in 9 years. I don't care what species you're talking about. If you're going to wipe out 1/3 of a population, you're going to cause that species problems, recuperating, recovering, and they have. They've been endangered for decades. And 200 SR Orcas is more than double the amount that live in the Pacific Northwest today. I know they face other problems in the present. Noise pollution, water pollution, the 3 lower Snake River dams being breached. But the true perpetrator, where we should lay the most fault at the feet to, is SeaWorld and what they did to those orcas in the mid-60s to the early 70s. Now, there isn't a thing that I can do about all the lies and propaganda they spew to the crowds that go in there day in and day out. Nothing. But I can make this video. I can encourage people to vote for the Democrat in their district in 2024 to get Adam Schiff's bill back to the House floor. And I can at least drive home this point of SeaWorld's very first lie. The very first lie they ever told. SeaWorld San Diego never captured the killer whale beast of the sea, brought it to SeaWorld San Diego, and tamed it. There is no such thing. An orca is the largest species of dolphin. The SR Orcas, all orcas, are gentle, intelligent, family-oriented mammals that have never hurt or killed a human being in the wild. In fact, the only time a human has been injured or killed by an orca has been in captivity. And I don't know how, but someday, some way, all this has to end. Thank you so much for watching, listening. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.